I'm here at a $1.50 Turbo 6 Max on our building stacks at the micro limits. I'm one on radar one here. Picked up 7-9 in the big blind. Not a great hand and out of position, but I got 3 out of the 6 people in the hand. I've hit nothing, so it's probably a dead hand. I'm gonna just for videos purposes put myself over here, not teach at this site. I'm sorry if that's a little confusing to you, but the name wasn't available. I'm one radar one. And if you do happen to come into the chat room, please say hello. This is an easy fold here. So we're trying to get into the top two. It's paying 65.35. So this is a good chance for us to pay a small amount of money, get a lot of practice, and maybe increase our bankroll. Again, these are the micro limits, and a lot of you need to find out if you can apply some of the strategies that we've talked about down here before you move up in limits and really affect your bankroll. Early on in the tournament, since we got 1,500 chips, which is pretty deep for the 10, 20, although it's a turbo, it's going to go up pretty fast. We're pretty good shape. Over at Full Flesh, you get 1,200 chips, and it goes a lot faster. Now here we had the ace-8, and we absolutely threw it away to this raise. I would think that this person has a pair or at least a big ace here. Even though we're playing six-handed and their ranges are quite wide, you have to give everybody a little berth here early on and not spew chips on hands like ace-8 offsuit. It's just not worth it. You got to play a little tighter early on. People like to splash around. They get a little frisky because they have so many chips and the blinds are so low. So you can get sucked out easy, or you might not be able to get somebody out of the pot because of the fact that they're calling stations. Remember, you're playing $1.50. You're not playing against the world's best. You're not playing against the world's worst. It doesn't matter how good you are. You still got to get some cards. You still got to make the plays. You still got to get lucky. You got to hope that they don't get lucky. That's why poker is so admired by so many people and so embraced by so many people, is because there's a level playing field on it. You can play against Phil Hellmuth and you still get the world champion in trouble by you getting some decent cards, or him trying a bluff, or you just sensing weakness and doing something special. It's not like football where physical ability dominates. In this game here, you got to think things out. You're sitting on a computer, you're sitting on a keyboard. Things are a little bit in slow motion, but you still have a timer. You still have to act within a certain period of time. So we're letting these cards that are bad get thrown away, and we'll just watch everybody else to see what they're betting. How big is their raise? It should be probably about $80 at this level. I would think that if they do 50 or 60 bucks, they're going to get snap calls from a few people they may not want in the pot. So 80, a little bit higher, might get them to weed out a few people. Now 60 is their standard 3 times the big blind bet. So we know now that the big blind call, when the big blind calls a raise, it could be for 2 reasons. It could be because they have a really good hand, they're trying to set that person up, or it could be because they just want to defend their blind, which is the wrong reason to do it. They're out of position, they're facing a raise, they should have a really good hand. You can consider this last hand that this person had an okay hand, but probably wasn't a good enough hand to call the 60 bucks and should have just folded it rather than donate $40 more. Now later in the game, we were playing maybe less. I would have maybe raised in this hand ace-8. I don't see the value. There are some people that would raise this early with that hand and try to take down blinds, but the blinds are $30. Why am I going to risk 60, 80 bucks to win 30 bucks at this stage? It doesn't make sense. I can't win the tournament with that hand, but I sure as hell can get involved and maybe lose a lot of chips. You do not want to spew chips, especially early. Leaking chips is just a sign of weakness, and it's going to put you in a bad situation where you're going to have to act. Easy fold. You're going to have to act before you really want to act. In other words, you're going to get into a situation where your chip stack is going to get so low that you have to make a stand. And then it's going to be so low it may be irrelevant to some people with a bigger chip stack, and you don't have the power of moving people off of hands because your stack itself has no power behind it. It's very weak. It's very low. So here we got a suited king here. Not a good hand. Doesn't make straights or anything like that. Anybody raises, it's an easy throwaway hand. We're out of position. We'd love to see them all limp and see a flop. That's not going to happen. He's out of position and he raised. So this is generally a very good ace. This is a pair. He went way up there with 210. He got two callers. Remember, I had the king six. The bet 660. He's going to bet a little bit more than half. Take it down. All he was betting is that they don't have a five and they don't have a king, and they couldn't stay in there. If he had ace king there, he would have cleaned my clock. So ace six offsuit's not a good hand. I'm just going to call the $15 since I've got all that money in the pot. See if I could spike two sixes or an ace six, which I didn't. So if I'm closing the betting here, if I had something or a redraw for something, I would put the $60 in the pot, even though it's, a little bit of money. But I don't have anything. I mean, if I hit the ace, that doesn't mean anything. Somebody could have been playing ace four or ace nine, and they get two pairs. So the ace isn't really a card that's going to make a good hand for me in that position. I'm hoping that this video today is very clear. I'm over at True Poker, and I hope the sizing of the table and the sound quality is good. I've been working on that with several people and trying to improve it. Here I got a queen two. It's $30, and I don't know what these two are going to do. More than likely, one of them may raise. I could see the pot for $30. $30 is not going to affect me, so I'm going to demonstrate something to you. I could raise with it too. Okay, I'm going to limp with it just to see if these guys are smart enough to raise and pick up all this money, and they're not. See, I could have been queen two that came out here, or two deuces too. For $30, it was worth a shot at something. Here's a hand that I would not stay for the backdoor club flush, and I wouldn't stay hoping to hit a two or a queen here. Remember, a queen here, and then you got king jack, which people play, makes a straight. So it's not a good hand to get the two pair, so I would fold. I'm glad to see that I went streaming this morning, and it must have sent out emails to those of you that are following me. If you follow me on Twitch, which is TeachGPL, you'll get an announcement when I'm broadcasting live. And those of you that watch my YouTube videos, it's Al Spath, ALSPATH. And please search and follow me there. And I would appreciate that so much. Comments are always welcome. Here I got a 9-10. If it was suited, I might even raise, but I'm just going to throw it away. I'm going to play a little tight here early, let some other people splash around, although I'm usually convinced that one or two would be out by this time, especially in a turbo, but they're protecting their money pretty good. They're seeing flops, and then they're just getting away from the hand. Impressive on their part. You know, when you're at the table, you have to give credit. When somebody outplays you, when outthinks you, outmaneuvers you, just beats your brains in. And sometimes, if you don't, if you just think everybody's a joke and everybody is awful and you're the best, you're going to get it taken to you every time. Doesn't mean that you can't, that you're going to win every time. You have to have the framework, the mental framework to say that, you know, if I take a loss, and you can look at one of my other videos where I went down to like 200 or 300 chips and came back into the money. You got to always keep your mind on the game and get over it and don't tilt and don't get crazy. I know a lot of players that'll win a lot of money, but they'll give a lot of money back, and they tell you that they're good and they're. You know, I finally picked up a hand, so let me raise this up 3x. Of course, I would probably take on some of these lower chip stacks at 875 for sure if he wanted to put all his chips in there. Now I haven't raised one time here, and all of a sudden I raised. I should get some respect at this table if people are watching. You look, you can get in with cards like this and get beat up just as easy as getting in with bad cards and get beat up. So I'm going to follow up with this bet, and I'm going to bet about 225 and see if I can just end it right here. I still got a redraw for a jack. That was pretty quick on his part to call there. He may have hit two pair here, or he may have a jack king. I'm not sure. Now, some of you say, okay, you call this, snap call this in a minute. I don't know if it's worth it to risk my tournament life here that he's got two pair. He stayed the first time. So I'll use the time bank here. And I have to decide whether or not I think he has two. I think he has two pair. But some of you would say, no, you got to go and everything. So I am going to call to demonstrate what I'm up against. Oh, and it looks like we're going to chop it. I'm pretty lucky. Now, he had fold equity. So that was good that he forced me to do that. Him having the fold equity, he put the money in. He almost got me to fold thinking he had a bigger hand than he had. I gave him credit. Not that I was thinking more of monsters under the bed, but it just seemed like if he snap called me the first time, and I was my fault for not putting him on the same hand, but it's hard to put somebody on that same hand. And then I gave him credit for either two pair or hitting the straight there, and he almost got me to lay it down. So you could see me having to decide what to do there and how difficult it can be at sometimes. And I'll tell you, it's harder also in the respect that when you're on Twitch or when you're on YouTube and you're doing a video, you don't want to do something like I just did there and get beat by that bigger hand and then have to end the video early. You put a lot of time and effort into getting the video going and send the automatic emails that go out. People come to see and they want to see you sit around and play for 35, 40 minutes. They like to see you win, but they don't care if you win, but they want to see all the strategies and techniques that you might use. So when you get knocked out early, you either have to throw the video away because it's not a lot of ground has been covered and start over, or put up the video and have a little short vignette up there. And I'd rather have a bigger video, but I'm not going to edit anything. I'm not going to change anything. You're going to see it. You're going to hear it live from me, what's going through my mind in a particular case. Let's go back to that hand again on the flop. I could have pushed all in and forced him also, instead of doing the 250 or 225, whatever I bet that time. I could have forced him, and I would have had the fold equity. But then again, I had nothing, and so I chose a different route, see if I can continuation bet, thinking that if he didn't have something, he would have to fold. And he had the same thing as I did, a draw, and then a redraw with the ace. All right, I could start to, I'm going to wait till blinds go up one more time before I start stealing from other than the button with hands that are pretty sketchy. King 6, King 8, those kind of hands. When you have three people against you, you figure one of them has a possible pair, one of them might have an ace, one of them might have a, when you have one or two people, the chances of them waking up with a better hand than you are a little bit slimmer. Now again, this is a turbo, so the blinds are going up at a rapid rate, and we're at 50.75 right now. I mean 25.50 right now, $75 every time we trip around the table. So it's going to cut into us as soon as we go up to the next next level, unless it's 40-80 here. I think it might be 40-80. Then we might get an extra reprieve of a couple of minutes. Again, this is a hand you don't want to play. I don't care if you hit the queen or not. I don't care if the queen would have held up here. It's just not a hand you want to play. You're going to get lots of, here we go at 5,100. Now I got an ace here, and again, I could do something with it, but I'm in an early position. I'm just going to fold it. I'm going to take this one last round around the table and try to pick a spot where I can get in better with my money. If I was, yeah, that's what you got to look at. When you're now at 5,100, the people that are under 1,000 have less than 10 big blinds. They're going to push all in as their play. Do I want to get all in with ace four is the question that went through my head. I didn't say it out loud, but that is definitely one of the questions that goes through on my decision making. If I had ace 10 there, I definitely would have put in chips and then called somebody that re-raised me. But just if you're wondering what it would have taken me to bet in that position, I probably would have bet king queen there too. Here's this guy. He's got nothing to lose. He's been going all in, and now he's just gonna pick up a decent hand and push first. Hopefully, one of these guys will show us. Nothing to do with this hand here. And again, we're going to be 10 or less big blinds pretty quick, so we're going to have to do some pushing ourselves. We only had one good hand, the ace king. We don't care if 2 or 3 people get involved in this hand. It's just going to maybe possibly make smaller stacks that we can dominate. It's a good bet. 434 into 650 gets raised all in, so there's an ace up on top. Diamond needs to hit. It doesn't. Ace wins. Like I said, he was under 1,000. He had an ace. He's going to defend. That's just the way it is, folks. Think about it. When you get 10 big blinds, you're looking for big cards like an ace. You're looking for pairs. You're looking for suited connectors. You're looking for all kinds of things. So here I am on these guys got adequate chips in here. I think that if I put in a 275 bet here, I might be able to take this down. If not, I'm still 10 big blinds, 9 big blinds. That's not good. If he was willing to go all in from this position here, he's probably got me beat, and I don't want to take that race with a 9-5. So it didn't work out. Now I got an ace. If I'm first, I'm going to push. If somebody else comes in first, I'm not going to push. It's that simple. I don't know what that means if he's playing table or two. Now he's got 1,900, and then this guy pushes ahead of me, so I'm going to get out of the way. I would have pushed against him, hoping that he was just deciding what to do with his hand, and he wasn't having a big hand. And I don't know if he'll risk that much money or even $900 to me. I think I could have picked up his 100 and all these other people's money, but this guy did it before I did it. I'm going to fold the 5-4. So I'm going to have to double up many times to get back into this game. But the first thing I have to do is survive. And that means right now, next hand, I'm under the gun. If I have anything good, it's all going to go in because I get the 2 blinds. And one of my bets is not a blind bet. So I get the max for my money. If it's not, then I'll wait till I have a much better hand. It's Jack against the 8. You want to have 2 live cards, not like this. You want to have 2 live cards when you're in a race with somebody. You have a better chance of hitting something and winning. When one of their cards is better than yours, and you could just see that this person here was going to come in with anything because they don't want to wait for the blind either. 9-10 is a connected hand. They took a shot at it and hit a full house against them. So now 6-7 suit is not a bad hand. Now somebody goes all in, I have to decide, do I want to stand with 6-7 or not, and take them on. As it turns out, they all folded down to me, which is, thank you very much. And this is an all in hand for me. I probably will take on anybody and take the race here. Not going to play this. I don't want to see a flop with this guy. I just want a couple $100. Now we're up to 75, 150. So we're still under 10 big blinds, and we don't have much choice of doing anything else. So when you go all in, when you have 900 or less than 10 big blinds, they don't know if you're making a stand with ace four or if you got ace king. So a lot of times they will try to call you with a hand thinking you're playing a wider range of hands. So if you have ace king and you bet 350 or 400, they're going to give you credit for having maybe a big hand, and they're going to stay away from you. So it's best to just put all your chips in my opinion, and not let them know exactly what you got, because they know you're going to play a wider range. So if you wake up with a real good hand and then they call you with an ace nine, you could slay them. You know, even if you have ace 10, jack, or anything like that, it's the aces nullify each other or cancel each other out. And so then you just have the two cards racing it off, and you hope they don't hit a 9 or a 7 or whatever their kicker is. Thanks for some of the comments you left at YouTube on some of my videos. I really appreciate it, and I appreciate you sharing my video link with others that play poker. There's a ton of people that are just starting out, wanting to build a bankroll, or maybe struggling, have some leaks or holes in their game. Here we got a guy just pushing him out of the pot. If he was on any kind of a draw for the hearts, one card to come, he's not going to call his entire stack. Now there's a solid bet. Someone who's got chips. Doesn't mean he's got ace king or ace queen playing five-handed, but it could mean he's got king queen. It could mean he's got a pair of eights, anything like that. Effectively done. He picked up the blinds. Grizzles might either fold or push all in here. I don't think he's just going to call. I didn't have anything. And now if I would have hit something here, I would have went for a check raise. I think he's going to bet about 200. He didn't bet at all. Maybe could have stole it from him. Maybe, but I don't know. He did have ace high. He did have me out chipped. I don't know if I want to spend $75 here in hopes on hitting a king. I could have pushed it all in, but I don't know if I could get them both out. Now, this would be the situation. I hit the king, and I have the two kicker. Now I'd have a nice nut draw. The answer is yes, he probably has an ace. And could I have gotten him out with the king? Not if I got all my chips in the pot, I couldn't. Limping again. Don't want him to do that, but I'm going to go with him this time. I'm going to hope that my ace 8 is better, because I haven't seen much out of him. And I'm just going to hope he has like 10 jack. Or, all right, 9-10. That's okay. Hit something. No, not the 10. Don't hit the 10. Oh, my gosh. I wanted it to hit something. It didn't hit me. All right, folks. Well, that does it on this video. You can see I did not do very well on it, and they crushed me, and that's the way things go. And you get on and take on the next opponents, and I hope that what I did you don't do, but keep in mind all the different factors in making a decision. Usually when somebody goes all in, you get out of the way. But since I had so little chips, I felt that I would be in front, and I was in front. If you think about it, the ace 8 was way in front of the 9-10. Put it on your charts and card player and see what the matchup is. But you want to get your chips in ahead. He hit his 10. So if you don't hit his 10 there, then I win and I go on to victory. But I didn't. And so I'll end this video right here. My name is Al Spath. Today's the 22nd of August, and I hope that you'll share this with some of your friends. Thank you so much for tuning in.